21. The effect of light on the air. 29 January 1847. In order to understand even more thoroughly that in the atmospheric air there is an innumerable quantity of basic air substances, or as the scholars of the world call them, propertia, one must be led to where one reaches this insight, and in a certain way irrefutably sees for oneself where these propertia come from, and what the reason of their origin, their existence is, and also their cessation. It is not difficult at all for him who has only some good will and is not a diplomatically grounded scholar, which diplomacy hangs before his eyes like the cover of Moses, only not for the same reason, so that he does not see and understand what the simple man can see, perceive, and understand with slight effort. Whoever, I say it again, has only a little good will and no cover before his eyes, will grasp it with his hands, that these countless propertia in the atmospheric air are not taken out of the air, but like everything, have their most efficient reason. Look up. How innumerable are the stars in the distant spaces of the infinite ether, which has nowhere a beginning and nowhere an end. Man is completely enchanted when the shimmering light of all the millions of stars fall into his eye. And how sad he is when, for example, sometimes a few cloudy nights spoil the glorious sight of the starry sky. Is this not an effect which so pleasantly inspires the human mind? Yes, this is all the effect of light from those distant regions, and it is light that forms the atmospheric air. This great world eye around the world bodies, as it is only light that forms the eye in man and makes it related to him. For if the eye were not light, it could never see the light. When man looks at the starry sky with his eye, with this small sun in his body, his eye itself becomes a small globe in which billions of suns circle, and central suns throw out their primal light into endless distances. A whole infinite creation then carries the eye of man, and the shining and reflection of the suns in the sun-related eye of man causes the blissful sensation in the soul about such wonder. How the greatest finds itself in the smallest and recognizes itself as what it is in itself. Who can deny that? At the most, a truly blind person, or a person, like there are many of them now, to whom a stinking tobacco tent in his stinking mouth is more important than the whole starry sky, which he only sees in his own wall mirror when he looks at how his tight garment, for which he still owes the tailor, looks, and how his disgusting tobacco tent looks compared to the tight garment that he still owes. But of such human larvae is not spoken here. They are actually on the world, as the flies are on a pile of dung. Their treasure is the dirt, because they themselves are dirt. Such people, of course, do not look at the stars and have no eye for my works. But people, as there are still many of them, who often lift up their eyes and secretly say to themselves, "O Father, in your great kingdom there are innumerable dwellings." Such people will certainly not miss the above-mentioned effects at the sight of the starry sky, and will never be able to deny that the light of the stars has a powerful effect on their minds through their eyes. But if the light of the stars through the eye of man, in the most rejuvenated degree, already produces such a decisive effect, how much stronger will be the effect of the starlight through the great eye of the earth on the earth itself? For the atmospheric air is on its surface, where the ether rests on it, a shining mirror, in which every star is already depicted very significantly large. The image is now led completely to the solid surface of the earth, and that in more and more concentrated light power, according to the known optical principles. The effect of this concentrated light, or this concentrated light itself, is in itself such a very simple propertium in the atmospheric air, because it acts on the parts in the earth and on the surface of it that are suitable for it, either dissolving or contracting. Now you may only count the innumerable stars, if you can. Then you will immediately have also the innumerable simple propertia in your atmospheric air. Everything that is physically present on the earth and in the earth is all mutual effect of the stars, and that because I, the Creator, have arranged the great world mechanism that way. Astronomers on Earth have already made two quite important observations. According to one of them, formerly existing celestial bodies have completely disappeared. Then also, the property on the earth caused by them must have disappeared. And with it, those beings which could enter into physical existence through it. Another discovery of astronomers is that light from very distant stellar regions will arrive on Earth for the first time, either now or sometimes only after many years. According to this phenomenon, then also new propertia must appear on the earth. And according to them also, new formations on the earth, which work either favourably or unfavourably for the already existing beings, depending on whether the star from which the propertia originates is a good or an evil one, for there are good and evil stars. And according to them, there are good and evil plants, and good and evil animals. So there are also double stars, which cover each other at certain periods of time. Of these, usually, one is of a good and the other of a bad nature. If the good one is in front of the bad one, it cancels the effect of the bad one. If both shine side by side at the same time, the bad influence of the bad star is softened by the good one. If the bad one comes before the good one, it completely cancels the effect of the good one. And on that part of the earth over which such a star stands in the zenith, a bad effect will soon be felt, which will show itself either by bad weather, or by the misgrowth of some plant species, or by diseases of animals and people. The coverings of the stars by planets also have a bad influence, but sometimes also a good one on the earth. And from this standpoint, the old sages also determined the now fabulous regiment of the planets, which is not as empty as the new scholars who only calculate with numbers imagine. Also, old predeterminations in the weather law had their reason in this consideration, about which is now even laughed at. Nevertheless, the old wisdom still remains the same. In the same way also, the comets and other light meteors, even if they last still so short time, exert a noticeable influence on the earth, just as not less the light change of the moon, and especially perceptibly the light duration change of the sun, because who does not feel the difference between summer and winter? He is to be pitied certainly in the highest degree. That even the light, even if it lasts for only a short time, certainly exerts a powerful influence on something on the earth, is proved by lightning, which certainly lasts for the shortest time, and which, as is well known, kills the crabs if they have not crawled into their mud chambers. From what has been said so far, it will be clear to those who have only a little, but somewhat better insight, where the many propertia in the air come from, how they are caused, and what they themselves necessarily cause. But now that we have gone through this, and have thereby become acquainted with the first and lowest circle of air, we can now leave this circle of air and swing up into the second, from which we will recognize the phenomena as they appear every day in the most varied cloud formations. And there we will also see why the air in the higher regions is purer and healthier than in the lower ones.